For their houses, doors and couches of silver upon which to recline, and gold ornament. Meaning Allah would have given so much to the disbelievers in this life. But if He did, what would happen? This would lead to extreme corruption and chaos. But all that is not but the enjoyment of worldly life. Meaning, even if a person had couches of gold and silver, houses of gold and silver, still, what would happen? Eventually, this would come to an end. وَالْآخِرَةُ عِنْدَ رَبِّكَ لِلْمُتَّقِينَ. And the hereafter with your Lord is for who? It is for the righteous. It is for the righteous. It is not for everybody. This world, what these ayat show to us is that this world really has no value before Allah. If Allah wants, He could have given so much to even those who disbelieve, those who reject Him. I mean, look at Fir'aun, how much money and power he had. How much gold he had. Isn't it? I mean, so many people make their livelihoods today by selling the things that Fir'aun left behind. Isn't it? They go and they rob the tombs and they steal those things and they rob museums and all of that and they sell them in the black market for thousands of dollars. Isn't it? So imagine how much money Fir'aun had. But what good was that to him? It came to an end. It finished. He left it. وَمَنْ يَعْشُ عَنْ ذِكْرِ الرَّحْمَنِ نُقَيِّضْ لَهُ شَيْطَانًا فَهُوَ لَهُ قَرِينٌ. And whoever is blinded from the remembrance of the Most Merciful, meaning he does not remember Allah anymore. He does not read the Qur'an anymore. He leaves salah. He does not engage in dhikr, in tasbih. He doesn't fix time in the morning, in the evening, in the day to remember Allah. Then what will happen? We appoint for him a devil, and he is to him a companion. Meaning shaitan then takes him in his control. The Prophet ﷺ said, if there are 3 people in a village, 3 men in a village, or in the desert, among whom prayer is not offered in congregation, then the devil has got the mastery over them. So 3 men, if they're together somewhere and they don't pray in jama'ah, then who will take over them? Shaitan will take over them. So observe prayer in congregation, for the wolf eats only the straggling animal, meaning the animal that is alone, that does not stay with the group, with the rest of the flock. In another hadith we learn that 2 people, they abused each other in front of the Prophet ﷺ. So one of the 2 people, he became extremely angry and his face became red. The Prophet ﷺ said, I know a word which if he says, it will cause him to relax. If he says, أَعُوذُ بِاللَّهِ مِنَ الشَّيْطَانِ الرَّجِيمِ, his anger will go away. So that angry man, he didn't listen to the Prophet ﷺ. He didn't hear him in his anger. So the Sahaba said to him, don't you hear what the Prophet ﷺ is saying? And that person said, I am not mad. I'm not mad. Meaning I'm not crazy that I would listen to him and cool down right now and not take revenge. No, I will be angry over here. So you see, in anger, this person did not even understand what the Prophet ﷺ said. He did not even realize that it's Rasulullah ﷺ telling him, advising him. And he did not act upon it. This is very frightening. Because this is how shaitan takes over a person. This is how shaitan takes over a person. نُقَيِّضْ لَهُ شَيْطَانًا فَهُوَ لَهُ قَرِينٌ. That it's so frightening that we might get carried away by something and shaitan could take over us. Right? I mean, this person got carried away by his anger. So remember, those who stay together, if this man had listened to the Prophet ﷺ, because sometimes we are physically in the same space, but we don't remain united. If we remain united, and also if we remember Allah, then remember shaitan cannot affect us. He cannot get the better of us. Why do you think it's so important to form proper rows in salah? Why? Because the gap in the middle, who comes and occupies that gap? Shaitan does. This is why Rasulullah ﷺ said that even join the shoulders. Join the shoulders. Don't leave any space even between your arms. Because remember, where there is even a little bit of a gap, a void, whether that void is in your heart, in your time, in your day, in your night, in your saf, who will come and fill that space? Shaitan will. So, all these voids that we have, these empty blocks of time that we have in our day, in our night, we need to fill them with what? We need to fill them with what? With the dhikr of Allah Azza wa Jal. Alright? Because sometimes what happens? We're waiting for our children. For example, you're sitting in the car. waiting for them to come into the car. Just sitting, getting angry. What happens? As you're sitting, getting angry, the moment they come, you show anger to them. Isn't it? And if you had spent that time doing the dhikr, then what would happen? Yes, you would be angry, but you would be able to forgive. Isn't that so? So, dhikr of Allah is our protection, our shield against shaitan. So fill in all these gaps, all these voids with the dhikr of Allah. Remain conscious. And part of dhikr of Allah is also learning the deen. Staying attached to this noble cause is also a means of protecting yourself against the shaitan. Right? وَإِنَّهُمْ لَيَصُدُّونَهُمْ عَنِ السَّبِيلِ. And indeed the devils avert them from the way of guidance, while they think that they are rightly guided. They're doing something wrong and they think that what they're doing is perfectly fine. Until when he comes to us at judgment, he says to his companion, "Oh, I wish there was between me and you the distance between the east and the west. How wretched a companion. And never will it benefit you that day when you have wronged, that you are all sharing in the punishment. Then will you make the deaf hear, O Prophet ﷺ? Or can you guide the blind, or he who is in a clear error? And whether or not we take you away in death, indeed we will take retribution upon them. Or whether or not we show you that which we have promised them, indeed we are perfect in ability." This is a big threat. "So adhere to that which is revealed to you. Indeed, you are on a straight path. وَإِنَّهُ لَذِكْرٌ لَكَ وَلِقَوْمِكَ. And indeed, it is a remembrance for you and your people." This Qur'an is a reminder. And a reminder is something that we need each time we forget. Not just once, but each time we forget. A reminder is not something that you write down on a beautiful piece of paper and you put away in a book in your shelf. That's not a reminder. What is a reminder? What you put in front of you. Isn't it? So this Qur'an is meant to be a reminder. So when is it that we can put it away? We cannot put it away. It has to be a part of our lives. وَسَوْفَ تُسْأَلُونَ. And you are going to be questioned. Also, dhikr means it's a source of mention, a good name for you. And ask those we sent before you of our messengers, have we made besides the most merciful deities to be worshipped? Have we? No. Allah does not have any partners. And certainly did we send Musa with our signs to Fir'aun and his establishment. And he said, "Indeed, I am the messenger of the Lord of the worlds." But when he brought them our signs, at once they laughed at them. Fir'aun and his people, they made fun of the miracles that Musa a.s. showed. And